picture your world conscious stimulants. Eyes smacked by vociferant lack of indolence. The substantiation of conceptual images, the ultimate realization of theoretical fingerprints. Roots stretch and twist from a tree to strengthen the bond of what existed at feet. Covalent claws both digging the creek. The evanescent reflection electronically. What if death is but the outset of an odyssey that lasts exponentially longer than all that is following? And up to the point of dying, we aren't even blossoming. Could death be the entrance, the foot of the next dimension? When you beat the game, is that it, or do you just get the next system? Move to the newest console on this infinite expedition. Its continuing's only limit, pushing, reset, or quitting. The advent of vision, kaleidoscopic explosion. Past multiply, unfolded, a timeless ronin. Fictitious science pulses, provide emotion. These ideas go inside his dome, not unlike hypnosis. To congregate with his own philosophic notions. Like 5 lions with pilots inside controlling. Synopsis wise, bottom line, yo, my mind is open. So get the fuck out my face with your guys that close it. The religionless ayahuasca genesis, a magnifying glass cast inside a vastless emptiness. A paradox like parallactic instances. Without the position you're seeing from being different. Such is the nature of disorienting stimuli. When you decide what light goes in your eyes, that world is emphasized asleep. Imitating awake dreams, reiterate, zooming in on what's currently the peak of your mental state. The symbolic interpretation of your mind's reverberation. My soul's lost, only so-called monsters lurk my wavelength. My whole squad's mysterious stars, ghost swamps and pyramids. My levels of madness are myriad. I conjure fictional realms and disappearing. And when I look at myself, I wonder which one of me's where the mirror is. What if any reflection is a potential nexus to commandeer the ship? Close proximity between dimensions causes atmospheric shifts. I lack experience with behaving inauthentically. So while our lives unravel inside a cage intrinsically, I escape through entropy by way of syncope. I add the weight obligatory to gravitate the things that interest me. I adhere to a strict code of this is me. Rewire undesirable systems to configure peace. Meticulous stitch work with roughshod iron thread covered in blood. I weave untouched across a lion's den. Your soul will know no grave. Don't be so afraid to die within a low point. There's always a place from where one might ascend. Whatever glow that I may generate, the light is dim. You don't know where I have been. I've suffered life granted brief serene instances. My English panoramic with few peaceful intermittences. Sparse moments that make ingrained impressions. Strong enough to form a smile that won't evaporate in seconds. I inhabit worlds where all happiness is threatened. Buried beneath unnecessary casualties to feckin'. So much bullshit interferes with what is beautiful. I wanna die forgotten, just disappear. Fuck a funeral, there's true power in how I feel. Real love's immutable. Energy is constant, it just veers from the usual. Perhaps that force could be more appropriately utilized if it underwent the transformation death's cocoon provides. Or perhaps not, perhaps the type of love's a fucking unicorn that's only found by poachers whose motive is just remove the horn. It's unfortunate that love is considered to be so sinister. Something so macrocosmic rendered to be so miniature. Fuck those who choose to see filthiness where there isn't dirt. Those with such lenses are condemned to only witness dirt. What is seen is not quite what constitutes an image. What lurks behind the optic nerve might pollute your vision. It's your responsibility to conquer your suspicions and see what's right in front of you despite predispositions. It's unfortunate that love is considered to be so sinister. Something so macrocosmic rendered to be so miniature. Fuck those who choose to see filthiness where there isn't dirt. Those with such lenses are condemned to only witness dirt. What is seen is not quite what constitutes an image. What lurks behind the optic nerve might pollute your vision. It's your responsibility to conquer your suspicions and see what's right in front of you despite predispositions. A cyborg consults with a primordial ghost, hovering above an iceberg afloat while the earth explodes, the planet breaking. As a swarm of locust channels hatred look off the sore coast. A tsunami's wave and say hello to the conclusion of your pathetic lives. The only way forward is if humans are anesthetized. But I mean that in reference to my insensitivity to the gamut of pain that they will experience when they die. And may they suffer as they fade into forgotten. It's the moment marked by your planet mid-blast. As a monolith, such senseless existence has been permitted for too long. But this particular instance can be made right with two wrongs. The shadows teeming with life when its light evaporates. These two go together like the theme Seagal and Applegate. If you don't know, just trust that when I speak of things that activate death blow with every word I thrust. You see my blades assassinate parental advisory. Violence steeped in bloodshed. It's like Sasori's puppets with a duffel squeezing cut heads. I got the sort of mind that's question mark porcupine. My neural currents is high, countless tiny torches shine. Any shred of sanity I may possess is borderline. My brain's auras of flame, ablaze on Enno's correspond. A dark creature with stark features that polarize, like what you see in the evening when you gaze up at a rural sky. Living with humans could not be more despised. I hate society, the false foundation of a world designed to destroy imaginations. Mass indigo oricide, they try to suppress the truth inside the blue and violet orbit. Suicidal orphans who want to kill themselves because they find themselves surrounded by such stupid mindless corpses. However, despite the pain, evolution's quite absorbent. Insights profound like images that bloom inside of orchids. Still at best, any solution tied to who am I is distorted. I can't quite put down the roof from which I grew to this importance. Subtleties abound, this book I live's a pseudonymous forest. I blossom on a loop like my cocoon just keeps reforming. We're surrounded by pollution, disillusionments assorted. An atmosphere so gruesome, there's no euphemism for it. Most are so used to it, they're torpid. While it's prudent that we address the senescence of our future, they ignore it. It's baffling how foolish people effortlessly are. The brain's capacity and use, the deficit is large. We're roughly 93 million miles away, connected to a star. Meanwhile, there's no such thing as magic, except a deck of cards. You fucking imbeciles fully fill me with rage. My imagination's body count couldn't fit in the graves. So many souls to bury that in the initial days, with the weight on the Styx River, it would have been displaced. The whole passage evaporated, dry as a pharaoh's bones. So much so that they need more to reintroducing wolves to Yellowstone. Even the best of intentions could pave the most hellish of roads, because despite what they are, intentions are parallel to results.
Besides, it's not what you think. You don't have any reason to hurt me. He's here.
Trying to rap the same style with the, I don't know who created it, if it was Future or Migos, but all them niggas sound the same.
Those who listen get bent when I spit what I wrote, like an iron sewer lid, shuriken in the ghost. Grim loving, Jim Duggan, cloud saw you in half. Silent smoking holograms, drowned jaws in the glass. Beware of the wolf, I collaged in the past. A rare amalgam of an owl crossing his path. Ravenous fangs, hatches for wings, his claws stab between blinks. I'll creatures who encounter him collapse in the heat. I am less than nothing, my shadow's extinct. Void, I'm not alone, my catacombs are more vast than you think. Wandered by a bird that makes no noise when it flies. The silence is all that can be heard from inside. Omniphonic echoes, a surge upon the heart beyond all thresholds, and all encompassing emptiness haunts his bereft soul. But he's not gonna let go, despite being caught in the death row. He resembles a swan as he spends the longest finesse shows. His resolve can't be conquered, his head's harder than death scrolls. If you follow him, you'll find out how far being depressed goes. A look within, there's a war going on, which wolf will win. Must stop fighting long enough to find out what they would become if they blend the sheer profundity that the alchemy of love achieves. All that the roots contain spiraling up from beneath. Earth and water, the immortal blossoming of a tree. And one can find the will of fire inside of just one leaf. A forest ablaze, arboreal flames, ignited by a spark from the flint. An unintentional sorceress made. Now it is what it is, there is no alternate plane. He exists like this in every world he pervades. A parliament of a single soul, slinky strolls in multiple ways. A distinctive gnosis, no interlopers course through his veins. Hypnotized by a gypsy's eyes, a quantum ghost lost in the gaze. That wander within this optic spiral for all of his days. Wings flap hopelessly in the chasm of loneliness. There's even the absence of ghostliness. Banished, I don't exist. I collapse in the smoke, the sighable ash of a Galapagos abyss. When humans approach, the animals are cold, relaxed and motionless. Rainbow swimming lizards dimly shimmer in a futuristic shade. Inviolable to danger, my doppelganger is an empty grave. In the oasis realm of this dragon's lair is the lasting stare of empty eyes that inhabit the air. I improvise as I clash with despair, trapped in the confines of a sylphine cache of nightmares. Emphatic light glares for being the most honorable of light device where shadows fight fair. They allow what there is to ignite to present a bright flare. Being active when the moon reigns doesn't exactly denote a patently consumed flame. For a shadow can move and allow the light absent to bloom into a roaring flower with a huge mane and a shower of truth. Somehow shouts in a mute blaze. Peace to Jamar and for the beat from Allah. Mere sparks can steer the heart of a deep dark beast to a star. Make the shades on your soul that are so frequently drawn go from being open for a peak to completely ajar. For those who provide warmth, I appreciate y'all. For while I am most comfortable in the cold, there are times when I need a break to be thawed, to leave the shade, to briefly bathe in the dawn. For a sibling orphan is a source of strength for the strong.
If you stay away, it will be an acceptance of things as they are. How can you hide? The more you remain unseen, the more they will feel free to seek you out.
Lock on pawns and queens with salivated saber teeth. Photon bomb regime, obscene particle beam sequences. Doji's gun barrels reach extreme Kelvins. Kanji etiquettes, arc brain scandals. Phantom geneticists, off-grid hybrid device, slipstreaming professionists with genuine fifth element alien opera pieces. Hell metal exoskeletal, space cobra, psycho gun convenience. Succubus be seeking for an energy boost. Werewolf insides, a dread harvest, enchanter enticement. Protoform healing move, Maz and Kaiser pilots. Silent rules of a defiant few, life support, transport. Students, producers, centripetal gravity loose. Wakazashi been proof, most crews were never splatterproof. Tearing half a roof, lean over and reach my hands in. Strict crouching stances, uncanny new jutsu grooves. Safeguard restrictions for addictive opioid lab enhancements. Westworld robotic optics get cattle branded. Obsolete machines being disposed of by a rogue dystopian shadow bandit. And differently hopping through the debris of a tattered planet. Springing from one asteroid to another like how shinobi be traveling on branches. The sky raining death, weapons eject the wrath. Chronomantic lights surpass 1010 scroll tornado avalanches. Teleport base, point blank stab advancements. Hatake hypnotism, kyberlace hyperspace mysticism. Organic bioprosthetic lightsaber improvision. Combined sense developed synesthetic dilated intuition. Calibration of intrinsic lenses can highlight enemies in the vicinity. The way the blind shape of mental vision. The inflation of innate psionic symbolism. An empath sense bath, the visual cortex repurposed. The ashes of a specific world succinctly surface. Like the sudden eruption of an entire ocean of submarines emerging. An uproar suffers serene disturbance. My beard's alive, wind soaring, Shidori tentacles, chimeric vines, strands of electro-atmospheric knives, torrential needles, Luabari echo, the piercing sky, held together by a single thread and a million eyes. The roots are legion, the seams of two worlds bleeding. The synchronicity, you can sense the energy screaming. The world glitches, the distortion that is demons. Lunar mechanics, the sway of gravity dims reason. Atomic melting, stuffed heads of razor wire elk weep. Hundreds loom like the rule of the spider elf queen. They wanted me to die to death, but I am healthy. I made a trophy out of each of Doji's creatures that have tried to fell me. Mountain of bewilderment, substitutes for statues filling it. Toes overwhelmed by the volcanic swell of natural stimulus. Their capacity for balance lacked in diligence. Now they stand as lessons for those whose eyes they visited. The implosion of enormous fossils, bones scattered below the earth are waffle. Each puzzle piece beneath the soil jostles, reaching for one another until their previous form ensembles. Torsion of the ordinary, a storm of otherworldly Atsu. The bioluminescent vortex of two-storied kaiju. Rotund souls, of an unknown world that haunts you. A labyrinth with 7 arms wielding swords of Amaterasu. The current chops you, we will control the horizontal. Beware the Gamork apostle, a wolf that weaves into a world of wobbles. The thread of the never-ending story novel. Don't conform and let social contours define you. In regard to thinking, choosing freakish over normal will immortalize you. Untamed perspective, opaque psionic neural goggles. The world explored through vagaphonic corridoric spirals. Our thoughts obscure, the way we walk through doors is diagonal. Unexpected, like Sasuke absorbing the Orochi marvel. The Anopus, immortal Sharingan that can always be reopened. Despite how many times each iris completely closes. I see the swirl, the beauty that deeps the world. Or rather I touch the space between. Eternal shedding, blooming cocoons with gossameric threading. We got tapes we could drop, but the world ain't ready. Circadian, lost in oblique radiance. A creature quite familiar with what disorientation is. Roaming his prison yards, pretending he's not an alien. Secretly formulating his plot of escaping it. Occasional fickle flames ablaze on a mortal canvas. Perpetual evolution of the canon of what can exist. My meditation conjures galaxies of transience. Worlds that hash form and collapse in a peaceful ambience. The rogue interpretations of shadow accretion analysts. Holding with trollmorphic astral cloud that speaks somnambulant. Take a halberd to the face, serrated molecules. Shadows lurking, baby goblin doom. Subatomic ghouls stranded on the outskirts of dirt. We hide in pools, rogue fish you on occasion. Flipping episodic schools, a momentary twitch. That risk give off a sonic boom like Gauntlet. Street Fighter to these galaxies are not for you. I'm but one of a kind, just few who constitutes an Eb's demise. An unnoticed moment marks the roots of a legend's rise. In curse, in search of what the depths will hide. Truths only seen by the most unique sets of eyes. Such things elude the shallow western mind. Self-imposed prisoners, surrenderers of every kind. Fall victim to a foe who with only one step would die. Instead they stand still as they get wrapped up in a web of lies. You can't be given hope to escape if you'll only accept your binds. That's just more of that irony or lesser fine. Souls are most at peace while wandering a measured time. Uninhibited, free from the temporal imprisonment. My own two are the only temples you find me religiously visiting. Real absorbed, kneeling before all that I'm witnessing. As I solemnly sift through it, earmarking what's interesting. Lost in crisscrossing infinites and pausing increments. Blinking in and out of atomic bomb like instances. Shrinking beneath profound epiphanic cosmic filaments. I get smaller all the time, there's so much more to me. I ain't shit, everything that exists evolves from sorcery. Magic is at the bottom of what reveals the world we see. Our entire macrocosm pales to the quantum worlds beneath.
Consume planets, spit ruins and shit humans. Lift moons in the monsoon movement. Subterranean, scaly skinned alien in eagle's face gazing in. The sun is phasing, the moon's changing grins. I'm grim daily, seamless changing like baby twins. The plaguing of a generation, no one is made to win. Deadly sins playing on a ukulele. Life's a crazy simulation of what you might have been. The slightest glimpse leaves you blinded to timing hymns. How are you just now convinced? Under the rule of the foulest prince. I'm not perfect, but I'm also not human. I'll admit the callous grip. You get slammed into Earth's crust that bursts guts. There are no challenges in the forest of realms where the blasphemed souls dwell in madness held captive. The unknown never lasts within the vast growing blackness. She's mad as she chats with her stained glass lips. Figure like an hourglass, but watch for her wrath. It's entangled in madness. Relax, venomous kisses that she's entranced with. Story goes that it once killed a blacksmith, condemned by her majesty's magic. The town was in panic. Another insanity classic. I get to work on your casket. Black cats cross paths within the vanishing castle. With laughter she brandished the black hole. Hell whispered the passcode, screaming it collapsed. Back roads and cracked open ever rafters. I climbed in and fell through forbidden chapters. A moment intimate with disaster. God gifted the rapture, the arrival of the cryptic messenger. I break course, the floors melt. They reached out their tentacles for help.
Blood in the aquarium, the ship can't enter hyperspace. Banished to obscurity like purity, the cyber craze. I walk into a violate, the aura splashing several worlds, searching for the means to calm a proud so it never furls. I wanna see you free of pain as you rise from rest, for all the things that prey on you to fade at your time of death. How could I not obsess? A cloak transmogrified the dress, a shadow redesigned until its light inside reflects. A innate explosion of a gentle light overlaps, drove somehow pleasantly. It seems as if my bones collapse, vaporized in the wake of my newfound photoblast, transfigured in an Ian fluid, 1,000-petal lotus splash, reaching out like dying stars. My tentacles are everywhere, hydrostatic, hourglassic vacuums in the ethosphere. The most beautiful silence that you could ever hear, secluded science ripples of the hidden realms, expressive gears. In utero, the reblooming of denuded souls, two halves of a star, reunited computer code, lost in a lunar globe, but not even human, no. We take what we're given and redistribute it super grown. What exactly do you know? Be honest, don't be lying, bitch. Many claim it's bright, but it's in a dark world that I exist. Conduct examinations, properly acknowledge shit. Majority rules, emptiness outweighs all photonic blips. However, choosing one over the other is not what's meant. They must be swirled together to endeavor higher consciousness. So despite the adversarial gravitation I persist, moving with a single purpose, immersed in a spiral disc. I will eject, come out the other side evolved. How could I expect to live if I had never died at all? Eat the China doll, enamored I collide with all. The impact is like a stampede of dinosaurs. The molecules that I absorb, a volatile pneumonic storm. The vibes that resonate, generating unforgotten warmth. Rain inside a jar, glacier takes time to thaw. I roam forever in a maze shaped like a heart. I embark, hidden pools, swimming apparitions. Risk a boom, profound twitches, vivid after mentions. Pay attention if ever you have a chance to listen. For nearly everything I say is an aphorism. Obscure shadows glisten, traveling in intimate anachronism. Magic flickers, time collapses, dramatic whispers. A swarm of tiny fragments in a vast collision, alchemizing that which is abstract to an act of vision. There's no escaping the true nature of anything, lost beneath the weight of a cloud's deflation. When it rains, I advocate the advent of binary growth, the stimulation of inner flames, incendiary to both. Two remarkable creatures sincerely sharing their souls to generate a light extremely rare to be known. Exotic oscillation, jostling photonic fur, fuzzy star fire, conscious vivid cosmoponic blur. Ronin accompanied by a cat and astronaut occurs, entwined the pride of blaze, synchronizing with a lion's purr. This is the sky I choose to reach my eyes on evenings I observe. Brilliance eviscerates the empty space when their smiles emerge. More gonorrhea, let that stellar fire burn. As long as it is strong, my applause will never not be heard. For I support the nature of symbiotic relationships. The correlation of reciprocity is patronage. The orbit ranges from far and wide to paper thin. However, the tether that ties them together is anchored in. For those of you who think my heart doesn't work, consider this before you choose to allow the thought to be birthed. The hatred that I've evolved is more than all of the earth's. Yet my capacity for love is so much larger it hurts. So get the fuck out my face with your interpretive ineptitude. I am not bound by how you observe my every move. My world is cloaked in shadow. Your eyes cannot collect my moon. It's hidden from many who would deprive themselves of truth. Not even close to who I should be at most. Too insubstantial to even constitute being a ghost. Doomed to endure lack of wind and sea all alone. The density that my soul achieves is weaker than smoke. A shell of myself at best, a pale silhouette. Playing out of snails built to death by a zillion breaths. You don't quite understand the gravitational force, the situation and the weight it supports. Caught in the embrace of a sensationless torch that wrenches one away from their source. A maelstrom the size of the sea of space, swarming with sharks compressed into a tiny emptiness that pulls you apart. If you wish to know why I'm most comfortable where the darkness is, yo, it's cause much of the light that I've come to know is artificial. Positivity typically equates to the Lord it gets you. You fake fucks can eat an entire mech's arm of missiles. I wholeheartedly welcome the 10th avatar of Vishnu. May hell come for you all, the fall paroxysmal. Just because I hate don't mean I don't love. My heart's official, feelings aren't contention or comprehension, you're monolingual. Make an effort to learn my language, you ain't no participle. You don't get to the side of me, something I don't, just far from simple. Rosetta Stone, when it's thrown, the palm will ripple. For the truth extends itself to the sharpest mentals. Pretty soon, tomorrow stars won't find a globe. The sky alone erased by an opaque biodome. What evidence do you have that humans affect the climate's mold? By the time proof will be enough for fools that door cannot be closed. Much of what they choose provides the future with a somber tone. The significance of the successful siege on scarif by a rogue evolution, although obscured, garish is highs below the threat of anachronistic steampunks buried within a cryo hole. And the transformations these three experience until the time explodes, flash to where tomorrow dwells. Just slightly after there was a blast, stars fell like barbells the size of Africa. For any assassination, weapon market spectacular. They got an aerosol blow dart with a flux capacitor. It circumvents time and wanders to quantum apertures to teleport specks of sawdust to the hearts of Draculas. Peace to the knowledge self-arc welded passenger. Its meditation prompts a heartfelt Lilith massacre. Mutations in the dark well, the skull enveloped scavenger. You're a pilot, your brain and your body are like a massacre. Seventh galactic hotbox splits mad long. Suicide with a shotgun, shit's that strong. It's like a mech using its cannon as a big ass bomb. The smoke leaves the barrel like a dispatch bomb. A pyramid shapeshifts, its bricks transform, and it creeps across the desert like it's 6 past dawn. A lotus floats distinguished in a pitch black pond, guarded by a Buddha lumitent flash tall. An abyss with no identity, frozen by splintering, once again intact after perhaps being gone for an infinity. A kyber so loss of energy, a saber caught shimmering, photovoltaic everything in the throes of decay and entropy. Being blind, Chirrut used the eyes of a synesthete. He formed images through the act of meticulous listening, using a light bow to snipe faraway enemies. And when he was taking the seeker forever, they made sure that he couldn't see. Stupid cat should have used headphones to cancel noise. Killed 2 senses at once, Republic Android, reprogrammed and deployed. The seed of his former campus destroyed with the rebel clan that he joined. Swords, mirror, stranded a void. We all preferred if the planet was void of humans who won't advance from McCoy. Extinction if you don't choose to evolve like powder kegs, like the Daenerys being consumed by a star with countless eggs. 360 expansion fan, dragon wave propagation. The blast unfolds with adiabatic approximation, exploding so fast it lacks emblematical oxidation. For the temperature states consistent for the emphatic shock's duration. Obscurity doesn't indicate something that isn't plentiful. It just means it's not widely acknowledged. It's a hidden truth. You don't know the ratio of elements that we inhale unless you analyze what the air that we breathe entails. So much goes unnoticed when you don't look, you don't see as well. However, the reverse can be as well. Piece to side B, learn how to work to the cod piece. I got dibs on your first fly beat, as long as Josh beats. But back to this beautiful piano-laden drum track. Dirty lost tapes with blunt raps, mosaic gun clap. The power of wisdom, twin sight for ammunition. The blast like Alex's sibling with panoramic vision. We wreak havoc on those who go into a trance and listen. In the zone, the heads explode like an aneurysm. Silk road shooting range, many weapons on display. Body shaped silhouettes surrounded with a bullet spray. All but what you're shooting at intact, Mazinga finger glock. Precisely disintegrate a target with a single shot. If you've ever witnessed what that particular pistol does to cast, your hair was Super Saiyan. If you hit me, cock that knuckle back. You can't avoid the slugs and pack, it's much more difficult than that. Each shot's got a deoxyribonucleic hunting app. Ammo made from extra earth skeletal alloys, extracted from the spines of stellar metallic cowboys. Involuntarily on some Kimi Maru Keke Genkai. The growth of hyperbaric splinter star metal insides. Reconfigure spinal disc extinction level impact. Equipped with go-go gadget cones to part and push your wig back. Scar those 1,000 petal lotus with the stem snap. Traces of a moss blood smudge no longer intact. Ink brush from a page by a monk with a plague. Swept underneath the secret lurk the dungeon in chains. But later liberated it emerges unscathed like a bird from its cage to finally serve its purpose engraved. And walk the earth ablaze, purple flames, my Jagan erupts. A horde of void dragons search your veins as my katana's touch. Imagery is conjured from the energy that I conduct, strung together with a web of indigoic viaducts. Over time I've come to know that I don't cry enough, and even still I have yet to let my arid eyes well up. This is just how it's occurred, it's not meant to preferred. It just is what it is, I've observed. But I've recognized the value of a dissonant purge. I just haven't been able as of yet to trigger the urge. Or could it be my tears have been reconfigured as words, and I've laid my head on the shoulders of particular birds, the specific ones to which the walking stick is referred. Without a flock who chose not to see within is a blur.
No. Are you a rich man? You have a lot of possessions, a lot of money in the bank.
Position rich. I know, that's my rich life.
Tumbleweed scuffle underwater with swords made of flame, but they don't disturb the water. Its fluid state is sustained. The fire is more an image than a temperature thing, but that's not to say that the ignition's not an instant away. The ripples of transcension don't exhibit decay. They're a bubble that keeps expanding while its density stays. Conjure the dragon made of fire swims in a rage. No horizon, the dark comprises every inch of the blaze. Fucks you up like Goku with wrenches for days. Light reduction to some conducting monkey business with shade. What was before nothing more than a vestigial state. A tale to be told to those who descend from the pain. Candyman mythology, the horror of childhood dreams materialize on earth in a subservient cloud of bees. A legend is not as much what it was as how it's seen. Its measure is the amount that believes. Powerful seeds once sown, these myths sprout in the plants, flowers and trees that trickle down like gallons that span mountains with streams. The convolution of veins that protrude from the range. Curiosity mass produces mad fruit for the brain. The cyborg's music is a beautiful thing. Somehow it alludes to a strange distant future that changed. The way that horn tooth is insane, especially in cahoots with the way that drum loop is arranged. Similar to an Indian sword of flute when it's played, and the effect on the snake's movement that's presumably made. I move to allow myself to be removed from my cage and explore a new obscure evolutional stage. Forge my cocoon torn, the mutant of blades, exhumed from a storm before the swords that bloomed in the grave. In the shadows, Adam's plot to improve with they shape, and some inhabitants the appetite sooner assuage. Cataclysm, everlasting wisdom bestowed, a flame established in the middle of snow, 20 below. It tolerates the wind as it blows, shimmers beholds the principle represented by the alchemist stone. Philosophy transforms anything into gold. Contemplation finds mutation at the end of this road. The more you think, the more you sink into a hole, swirling like a cinnamon roll into your soul in the throes of a gentle maelstrom, a tunnel to wonderland, a sojourn that even seldom dummies don't understand. Two birds in the bush are rarely worth one in the hand. I'm humble on the words of a humble child, woman, a man. Phantasmagorical grams cause my lungs to expand, and they magnify all the data I put under my lamp. I see as clear as a substance constructed after bunching in sand. I scroll through neural holograms to summon guns to my hands. Disinterred jewels hidden from the most industrial scans, like echo hunters indigenous to the umbral underlands. Deep gnomes tapping on stones to track what they hold by paying close attention to the refraction of tones. Even their keen ears can miss the path that is shown, and no one listens better than these cats on the globe. Mental manipulation of shadows is known as umbrakinesis when you behave as if you have a remote. But what do you call it when you're the one beneath the shadow's control? When your every action is decided by light's absence alone. Slightly lit, I exist in the world blacker than cold, but such pressure has been known to yield spectacular stones. Shinigami apples, Fibonacci fractals explode. We're surrounded by patterns that extend labyrinths below, the dimension of which when measured beneath, examined and close. The further in you zoom, somebody seem to actually grow. This lagomorphole and intrepid theoretical swirl, the depths of the furl, light leaping off the edge of the world. Just to discover where you were is just a speck of the mural that sets off elucidation like Manespit and Durl. Tossed in rumination, your whole perspective is hurled, your comprehension upended. A 3D structure twisted into other dimensions, and even then that wouldn't cover but so much of existence. The complexity of the physics is like a tesseract crumpled up and disfigured. To quantify it would require hundreds of digits, and John Nash formulas scribbled in clusters on windows. The most abnormal out of all of the ninja blades precipitate from clouds, he manifests with his fingers. The tragic storm on the forecast, perpetual winter. All shadows and grains of sand telekinetically rendered. Shrapnel from a grenade that genetically splinters and crashes into the brains of the most perceptive of listeners. Mutating the cellular whispers, hypercoteric constrictors reach forth to what hasn't yet been configured and methodically wrap themselves around telepathic pictures. Programmed with a direct but non-threatening signature. Commands wander as they will to where the destined adventure.
We disagree. It's not the first time, and it won't be the last.
Well, at least if we had a legitimate source, we could...
This is the essence of science. You ask an impertinent question, and you're on your way to a pertinent answer.
operate in shadow-driven phases, like steampunk light vibration, candle-powered oscillation, determined by a paradigm of sonic strobe manipulation, symbolized by the manner in which my host dimension changes according to my observations. Much of what I find smothers eyes with blinding hatred for humans, all by far the very worst of all the races. I'm not human, I'm conscious, using a stick to walk through mazes, hallucinogenic concentration. Imagine looking out into space and the sky is vacant. Absence of the constellations coincides with Earth being roamed by God's visitation, facilitated by capitulation. Bodies surrendered by those willing to let them take them. Avatar technology, souls powering through the mechanics of gold spiraling, a planet with ghost colonies. Who walks among us? Creatures cloaked in ignorance, moving unbeknownst to those who lack experience. Menes stacking pyramids, onlookers in a trance. When they glance, psycho camouflage pulls the trigger, blam. Dormant like the winter sand, for now shrouded hidden clan. It's like my swords are made of cypress, how I can just kill a man. Improvisation, no science, vials of blood on the ceiling fan. The butterfly effect, the pilot collected once you build a plan. These days, whack rappers blow up like film enhanced by making it seem like it's cool to be felons and silly chants to children fans. It's like bragging about smelling what acrylic can. I wish these fools would hold their breath with their noses pressed against kilograms of pure coke and inhale with the force of blowing wind gale. For teaching children to die or survive to grow up in jail. Makes me want to tear a hole in the earth and throw them in hell like Sajan with Kortov. Hope's got his revenge well. I'm a lone monster, anthropomorphic maelstrom that bends light and grows darker like Wesley when the price with a crescent windpipe. An ancient dragon of myth and legend in flight, descending on an unsuspecting town without an invite. A blind creature with a profound amount of insight, perpetually seeking to better comprehend life. The shadow self songs, a 7-armed rim bite. Retrace your steps to when your soul was lost, following spikes, redemption. Your spark restored, you will feel your heart mature by paying appropriate homage to swords that sharpen yours. On occasion, I consume trees, I'm an arbivore. Piece of the moon, lily, zodd, the immortal, and Amador. In the shadows, I evolve obscure like a polymorph, shifting intermittently when it is fitting. I alter forms, the ignition of eternal flames. My thoughts adorned by softly flitting nocturnal plagues of gently haunting swarms. This world pales in contrast to the one I'm crawling towards. It's like the brightest light beside the height of the darkest wars. A caterpillar steadfastly inching along, for it becomes a butterfly at the end of the valls. My own persistence will determine if I ascend or I fall. So I just have to push like Nagato with his palm. Innovation, 3-section staff, new chamber. My thoughts gravitate to paper to become words expressed. It's a collection of massive sabers with a force focused well enough to shatter glaciers the size of worlds. The spiral hurled into the depths of intergalactic craters. Imagination, a weapon akin to a planetbreaker. Hear demons, but I seldom hear the reasons. There are not a slew of inherently evil beings. When a creature behaves as such, it's because of a series of events. It blossoms, and anomaly popping up isn't frequent, and even then it's attributed to malfunction of synapses, dichotomous contradiction, cognitive dissonance. Sciences argue that our minds are not meant for this. Could Eden's garden be the live fruit from its vines, the experiments? What has been deposited on the Akashic etheric disc? If we inquired into the contents, what would the query present? An astute fascination with mutagen, piece to coach gun. I salute imaginations, the few who concede to no one. This is how I persevere, reverse engineering a shogun, staring into a spear whose point pierces deep as my soul runs. Cold blood, winter sand that won't budge. The monument of old suns, synonymous with diamonds when the coals crush. When evolution peaks, when you peak, a proof to be weak and fold up like a drawbridge. Y'all kids need to do like trees and grow up. Hold up, ichiban produce fire to feed my rhymes as peace, like getting high off of marijuana that's legalized. A lesser knows phosphorescent coals crack like eggs on bowls, pleasant like Shelly from Help My Grows. Bioluminescent glow, iron Bible lessons. Yo, sponge when it comes to betterment. I don't fuck with medicine if it doesn't make a life or death difference, unless the world is set to end with famine, death, and pestilence. Due to consistency, my immunoefficiency see is excellent. I'm all about empowering women like estrogen and having profound relationships outside of having sex with them. I find beauty in the body shape and face, I don't deny that, but I do not surrender to each impulse in my synapse. I won't allow myself to treat a sentient creature as an object. That's a feeble concept, and it reeks of a weaker mindset. Despite degree of knowledge, you're moronic if you don't recognize facts. Even if you can see, you're blind if you don't realize that. If you disagree with me, we shouldn't be in contact. May these words reverberate and hold the weight of gold like Bobcat. Vanishing, the planet breaks, a plague of locusts flies past. This man disintegrates and liberates my soul in contrast. That made me cold like Kayla Snow, Panda Baker beside Flash. But being stranded is like the misdeeds of humanity facing God's wrath. Inundated by the daily bullshit, society drowning, swirling violently. This world's pointlessness swallows me. Look at the metaphor, you get absorbed by those who bottom feed. As long as humans prosper, the future will not know peace. We're made of galaxies, hidden power, but how do you shape reality? Despite how small you all think it all revolves around your needs. What kind of sense does that make? The gravity would be wild as shit. That many satellites orbiting one body could not persist. Just imagine, with one additional moon, how the tide would get the oceans could cock back on some firearm tsunami shit. A quiet calm abruptly silences the mind as comets drift along at a gentle crawl, the dawn of new consciousness. Fireballs that have been spawned from the thrall of a cosmic rift. Thoughts of flint, it is within you that the spark exists. So close your eyes and shadow walk a bit. Carve your walking stick from a limb that extends from the roots of your heart's content. A road splinter, don't surrender your innermost occupant. Let your soul explode, inflating, filling with holes that obstinate. Ferris wheel, adamant resolve, anachronistic thoughts. A sorcerer performing dark magic, the traffic mystic arts. Listen, what I spit is sharp, kick back like when a pistol sparks. Absorb it like bufo tenant from a hallucinogenic fog. Your whole world's being destroyed, but you don't want to get involved. Typical humans who sit spewing your criticism blogs. You are the true and living flaws, the jaws that chew humanity. Parasites with Ouroboros, self-destructive panderings. If you're the type to subscribe to foolish laws developed by man in need of marriage license to confirm you fell in love, that's insanity. You should vanish like George not dancing under an enchanted sea of a nation. Results of damage so expansive you can't proceed. Horticulture, world sculpted before you advance, concede. Every time you make a choice is a point where you plant a seed. This beat makes me nod my head like the Hawk's response to threat, slamming Loki by his legs on some puny guy with edge to capture what my mind ingests. I write with electronic lead. My rhymes are puzzle pieces from a sequence that does not connect. I need to rearrange them. I'm a detail-natured architect. The Anopus seeker, pray the things I say are spider threads. The computer keeps the paces. I weave and shape a great methodic web. Listeners who shift their eyes to the sky will find a net. You'd be surprised how many times the skin astride my astral body sheds to wriggle out from under parasites, vampires I have fed. Ecdysis, an energetic exodus. My fire ebbs, disperses from where it could be usurped through veins inside my neck. I flick them off my shoulders, starving cobras I do not respect. With calm composure, gently alter boulders to their smaller specks. It doesn't matter what they weigh, they crumble, break, dissolve the rest. Scattered by your hidden dragon's wrath, my arms possess. Oftentimes the way my rhymes are designed is my insides project. My thoughts are lost in my own private cododamic dialect. I love Okami to death, yet I digress. Ophiocordyceps gives new meaning to the antenna one might express. Has explode like mountains when it's in no powers iris spreads. Parathesia disperse itself to servant shell's final breath. The teeth securely fastened to a leaf before the time of death. A bunch of trees with corpses on their leaves. This forest quite complex. Veiled dreams of braille. I sleep on a nail made out of iron beds. Impaled, I find it difficult to read the realms that I just left. I hear wings assaulting the sky. The sound of this reality being caught by surprise. Perhaps it is wrong, but I shadow walk all the time. I am fascinated by getting lost in my mind. A finger gently placed on space, it explodes. The shrapnel spirals enter its print like it's gold. I summon the void, a lot of monkeys' voices never known. What's real, whatever I decide at the time. Anything I choose to see with the eye on my spine. EA's forehead, dragons for arms. Darkness flame, black as the stars. Shadow farms, emptiness, not hollow, convoluted depth of Genesis. Its void consumes, not to be confused with ultra essences. Eyes obtuse, equipped with quite acute perceptive estimates. A vague micro gesture since his hand to his hilt. He draws his blade, coffins cascade. blood and ink compete to see which will cover more of the page. Each swing and thrust, stringing together to construct a story of rage. An interruption in the forces conveyed. It's like Ashton Kutcher looking at a book until the words wiggle. The pulse burst as a blip, the atmosphere around the earth ripples. Birds scream, every animal's fur porcupine. Somehow they sense a hint of a temporal slide. The arrival of a being derived from another point in time. He enters through a door when only finds where two worlds combine. Harmonic construction, conducted by a burst of universal disruption. The merge of dark melodies and dirty percussion. A bent light, photonic mural abduction. Auroral flames ignite from his verse when it touches. Subversive to the lights of which earth is accustomed. Urging all to exercise some thorough combustion. Gentle fire, the awakening of dormant realms. A lone troll escaping the ways of a born elves. His own father roams control on his trail. The one opponent who can rival his blades. By himself, sacking the fame, a spirit raised by way of a spell. His soul reintegrated once again in his shell. Just over a decade after it was expelled. Both instances of which his own mother compelled. Far too many vile creatures know nothing of hell. Far too many vile creatures know nothing of hell. Space itself spreads its arms, kept the stars a cradle. Well, you're straight like L, lowercase with me, you know you safe as hell. Even though it seems I'm cold at time to shine, you'll make me melt. Be calm, quit trying to find something wrong with my embraces felt. Don't concern yourself with harming me, just sink and save yourself. Even if I was the scar that's peace, I long to take that L. In the event that I'm sleeping when you call, I awake from hell. Ecstatic, happier than laughing, watching Dave Chappelle. You underestimate the power you have over me. How often I'm alone with peace because I never won't be reached. It keeps my dome at ease, knowing for certain you have a securely frozen, permanently open wormhole to speak, making me sever that connection's whack to me. But still I seppuku myself and reattach the sheath. Somehow you found a way for you to clash with grief, cause I have the audacity to love you from mad capacities. I won't apologize for the way my heart blasts for me, and you get wrapped up in its arms as they grab and squeeze. That's just me, tentacles both in and out the sea. This is just what love is like above the heights of alchemy. You have all the power if you feel that this has got to stop. I don't know how to turn it off and there's no volume knob. Vampire by mistake, I apologize. I learned to starve and drain and use the only way that I'll survive. If you said we don't got no vibes, I'd say I'm not surprised. Cause dark and light don't look at all alike side by side. Don't go outside and hide, go within, dive inside. Fuck shaking him, shake the etch and sketch, erase the lines of time. Don't bury yourself under the pain while you die inside. Fight or rise, stay on top like Hakeem Olajuwon. I'm not a hero, I'm just skillful shaking pom-poms. You're doing all the work, I'm just chilling on the sidelines. I'm just encouragement, love and nourishment. You're the one behind the elaborate custom workmanship. I create an atmosphere that magnifies assertiveness, improvise environments to satisfy resurgences. But you're the one responsible for any progress you make, cause you're the one who's gotta move to energize the steps you take. All the time you spend inside criticizing everything. You could use your inner eye to visualize much better things. Fuck all of those without who wish to start your funeral. The flux of your soul abounds, what's within is far more beautiful. You're incredible, the most pleasant light I ever knew. I'm mad grateful I was able to connect with you. I wish I knew a way to persuade you to accept the truth, but in that I'm powerless, so that's a challenge that is left with you. It's hard for me to fathom how even ravaged by pain. Your aura is comprised of such spectacular flames. In the end, there's only one thing I have left to say.
But yeah, I did.
Were you not listening to a word I said?
Yeah, I was listening. But guess what? It's not up to you to decide if you're worth my time. I get to do whatever the fuck I want with it. I love you. Okay? Deal.
Zodd.
I blow the dust off the vortex of spiral stars. The sky is yours, what slides through a kaiju that swallows stars. 7-armed students install prudence behind my bars. An elaborate zen labyrinth, I get lost inside the calm. Some are quick to go outside as if they know about what's right or wrong, but they themselves live inside a glass house like diatoms and think there'd be a limit to the light emitted by a pair of eyes. But nah, the scintillation rich, so window panes are fixed inside a skull. My heart's a palindrome for this outlet holds in high regard. No matter how it's shown, its power flows abounding by and large. It behaves as if time is paused in a wavering sideways jar filled with sand, so still it can't be spilled. A pantomime of all love that never dies at all. A sea of swords so finely sharp that even under penalty of infinities the tide will not be dulled. The waves extend beyond the shores. Etheric flames that flying forth spooky action at a distance. Magic simplifies the source. We are trees, our minds the branches, twigs and leaves. Our spines the trunk, our nerves the roots that span beneath. The soil is the planet we must toil through with anarchy, until its land is forested with evolution's canopy. Her beauty is clarity, and aura blooms one can't believe. My entire world is fog, it's blur removed by amber chi. The light produced as those eyes of hers suffuse volcanic beams. It's only dwarfed when its moon anthropomorphic spans her cheeks. Sometimes I can feel a smile, even when it can't be seen. Nothing makes me feel more powerful than when I see her dance with peace. But at the same time it's like I'm some sort of phantom creep, simply cause I express a truth that won't abandon me. These are things you may not understand, love's most uncommon hidden tongue. But I just speak a language that my heart invented with the sun. It doesn't matter if the light that reaches a planet is dim or none. A body still revolves around its star when eclipses come. The orbit may be long, pitch black, but I face it head on. That's how I'll survive. If I tried to hide, I'd be dead wrong.
Yeah. 100, yeah. Yeah. 9 gods out of the box, thinking that most of us perceive it. Specific study epiphanies from a makeshift kingdom. Psychoactive chemistry practice, filling magic distinctions. Sync like GPS, moving tools, controlling increments. Prometheus, speed and star map, open source data crack. Supersonic magnetized turbulence, molecular cloud collapse. By amplify robustness with light years to expand. Durable frame, tardigrade origins unexplained by man. 100-year war chants that dance on satellites. Overwriting human schools programmed to terabyte. The Hubble sites alright, but their flights stay low orbit. We speed of light spinning from a gravity warping fortress. Storm the quantum phone with exotic matter forces. Deformed in high dimensions, superposition of waves. Sick District 9 resistance, bloody mech suit in the face. Alien physics, twisted kip thorns and roses.
A wave of gravitation, untamed fascination. Radiation of omniscalar, innate natural inflation. A pseudo-neutron heart too small for its output blazing. Unestablished valence, a half that can't quite a mass formation. The chemistry may be massive, but not exactly connectively. The atomic system may be far too deficient magnetically. Lens and static dark matter, star field distortion. Scattered will these jagged parts heal and reveal an orphan. Light travels a path established by atmospheric forces, but still bounces through a series of mirrors with zero warping. The technology of an image, recomposited seen through optical lenses. The implications are strong like several celestial objects combined, all aligned in the sky, collected in the rare cosmic design that wanders inside the ascendant. A soul that pervades the whole range of the solar rays of all stars. My retina shown veins with no hope of escaping their jaws.
I have already slept enough for one lifetime. Enough for an eternity.
I clawed my way out of a multiverse of emptiness into a far more dense abyss whose hollow chords more infinite. These vacuum spirals that I'm being swallowed by an intricate that pacify all sensory stream labyrinth like dimension twist. It's like I'm doomed to teleport from one hell to another, but to a degree it seems it is correct. We choose to suffer, but while I'm destined to be smothered by an echo brood and hunger, I'm also granted the occasional brief glimpse into pure wonder. And I'm careful not to let what I experience obscure that beauty. I absorb all moonbeams, have the blessed fortune to see. I'm grateful for that window in my otherwise disdainful limbo. For a single butterfly can undermine the way the wind blows.
Do you hear me, Snake? I am the end. I am here to send you to your
Whole entire worlds are conceived from something truly beautiful. The force of God and achieves with the sudden bloom of what's been removed from view. The dark world I exist in will always have the number loose in you. Cause despite how dark the shadow on my heart, my love illumines through. Sharper than the teeth, a hummingbird that's on its beak, that they use to fight off other birds that wanna have a tree. For they have to compete for the nectar that they seek. So they evolve to weaponize the jaws projecting off the cheeks.
I beg of you, grant me the strength to take this final breath.
Below my light coheres, the glow excites to an eruption. My soul heaven piercing like Simone, pilot in a gunman, but my ink's invisible to many of the eyes that sleep a tentacle. It tends to shy away from those who don't try to reach their pinnacle. Those who fear the truth and willfully sterilize their spirits through. Terrified to wander in the confines of a mirror loop, to see inside themselves what is there and longs for nurturing. Hidden in the vault of the neglect of their heart's nursery. Somehow while they are unaware they're lost, they are in search of peace. Guided by an unseen force, they're drawn by all that lurks beneath. But you must let yourself be taken where you're being led. Your path is being woven by a compass needle deeply set. If you don't see through that specific eye, you'll never see what's next. Blind, your needle will continue its design. Believe the thread, you'll be left to gaze at the wake of an elaborate blur. Cause sadly you lack the nerve to travel your arachnid turf. Dreams weave your fate, but you need to wake your tapestry awaits. Wanderers must be conscious on their path to be reshaped. You can't be dormant, evolution doesn't happen by mistake. Your true form will be consumed by the void your atrophy creates. The eternal death, a dragon's burning breath, will taciturn what's left of the magic of his words bereft until the road's silent. You solely decide if you know blindness, you will be shown signs. It's up to you not to close your eyelids. So whatever you seek, go find it. Destiny's your co-pilot. You can't be force-fed, the key to your soul's guidance.
I have to thank you for waking me. If you hadn't shown up, my sleep would have been eternal.
When the nights are cool, I elude the discomfort that encumbers my solitude. For the heat rips it asunder as if it's a grim hunter of molecules. However, this beat ascends combusting of fossil fuels. And in that particular instance, I approve. That's the only kind of heat I like. When I walk the street at night, headphones squeezing tight like pythons that need a bite. I feel like I got the power cosmic like Norrad. This is what arises when you're caught in purgatory's grasp. Shadow walking with the fast evolving vast explorer staff, cataloging all the data that he passes on his path. As this happens, if you could see atoms as they form a mass, they would appear as entire galaxies flashing forward fast like starships in hyperdrive. Stars turn to stripes and lines. He's taken to a world in which he's drawn to his rightful mind that's lost, giving sight the blind a gift of unimagined worth. His beats invoking voluntary flames like when a dragon births. It's like freight, despite being split in half at birth, finding a way to still slay. Anomaly attracting lurks, surviving with no understanding of why they're always after her. And all of this while trapped in a future where no magic works within a lies. The stimuli that even she barely knows, driven by an inner eye. Vision rises from her very soul. There are those who are so distinct they feel like they're alone, who when surrounded a mountain of people it's like a barren hole. So as the signal of the kindreds who share their woe, they foster this inner strength to generate a glaring glow. Their whole radius mightily shoving all at once, layered pulsation and light production as strong as suns. But these beams can only be seen with certain eyes by unique beings with the sort of minds that diversify. One can only become truly immortalized by carving a place for themselves in their observers' minds. They must do things that could not be ignored by time, so those who witness their deeds tell their stories before they die. There's always some external source that calls forth my rhymes, and I've been guided body of water with swords inside. My thoughts are sharpened to the point divides my skulls like a porcupine. I walk a distorted line, an alternate world divides. Chimeric, I'm the result of multiple worlds combined, trapped behind mirrors that hold what's before my eyes. I am what's reflected off a surface multifaceted, a blend of several imperfect, blurry photos shattering. I don't see life quite the same as most imagine it. I traipse alone in labyrinths containing no inhabitants, wandering through mazes within a maze that's cartographic list. On an ageless quest to roam the aimless roads where shadows live. Cold, cavernous, chasm imaginative. Light flashes and life happens by aggregate ashes collide and travel through time like happy accidents attached and tied. Elaborate designs comprised of fathomless, conjured, incurred thoughts emerge, eventuate. The bubble you're in is constructed by what you intimated. Structure illustrates its origin, your mental state. So be mindful of what it's absorbing as it inflates. You may terraform an atmosphere that you can't tolerate, trapped inside a hostile habitat that you cannot escape. A jungle within which you must survive, sprung from little seeds, collapsed by danger, the maturation of your decision trees. So tread with zero gravity, if that's at all possible. Mark my words or not, if they're just a grain of salt to you. I point at brains, unconscious shoot. I just aim to offer truth, but perhaps you don't put forth effort when taking off your fruit. This world provides agonies, custom made all for you. Attachments that perhaps the sufferer may not remove, but there are some unfeigned comrades who can pluck the pain and loss from you. Of course not entirely, but much will fade far from view. The vague chain reaction of vivid psionic sorcery, distinct interpretations of lenses that all but orphan grief. A peek behind the curtain, an author contrite indeed. Long ago, misdiagnosed monsters that like to bleed, while I'm peace both with how I chose to and not to perceive. I shouldn't treat discarding their instincts like a trivial deed, despite the fact that either way I write what I mean. Certain times that won't suffice, my appetite won't be appeased. I wish to keep a firm grip on who I am innately, the objective to ask to project from myself to embrace me. The connectedness of widespread individuals tethered with the strength of dimethyltryptamine, enhanced limbic resonance, a web of which is threaded with allosynaptic messages, enetic rifts between which transmissions and reception slip, braided on all scales, both macro and quantum level stitch. A few and no match for a slew of atomic specialists. We may all exist in the truth where the bottom never is. On the top, sitting confused as qualms are measureless, peering over the edge of a growing hole with deference. Our souls longing for recompense, but fated to haunt the precipice. So seek, but don't be so distraught if you never find. A journey is defined by the during, not the finish line. He runs amok on a planet all alone. There are so few conscious souls, he's not sure if they're real, or leaves on a plant in a pot that he's grown. Stranded within a world without a mind of his own. He can barely hear himself think over the hum, harmonized by the drones. Interference breeds tumult where road consciousness roams. Defiance alone cuts an opening in the stifling moan, contriving a cone of silence despite the cries that oppose. A swan's grace, the calm space inside a cyclone. The oddly tranquil paradise to the storm sight knows. Serenity compelled by a wellspring of aphotic energy. The stemming beast impels the chainmail that envelops enmity. I simply vibrate out of phase with nearby enemies, gently oscillating away with atomic splintering. Shadows loom over Panda Street, a Wakazashi snowstorm, while in an alternate cold sword just haunted by sonic ghost swarms. As far as the development on the evolutionary chart that goes on, despite my level, I'm millenniums of light from my adult form. Hyperspace expansion and an explosive crossbreed, a world entirely comprised of paradoxes that move at pause speed. The balance essential to suspend you in flying source beams, sitting still in the sky like a Nikon's offspring. Toxic noodles, darkness flame my Jagan pupil. Flashes, having a dragon on your arm is useful, with swords for fangs that will never lack the jaws to chew you. It splashes at whatever lacks my staunch approval. As the wave crashes, you're also stabbed by your mirage Cthulhu. Somewhere on Earth, a red planet depicts a collage of funerals. The blur that tends to accompany beauty's profundity filters out those who don't appreciate subtlety. Hero and villain clothes, zero pose, I dress comfortably. Cloaked predator slash sky leopard hybrid, a hunt for beasts lurking with kaiju 100 deep. I am not an earthling, a portal explodes above your world. I'm inside it circling, a spiraling shadow with absurd wings. It's like teleporting through fountains, neither in travel sorcery, a forest of clouds, chain reaction plagued by the trappings of obscure links. Pleasantly distracted, but that's I see of Swordz thinks magic. He inhabits so many labyrinths when he learns things, crashing into other people's planets like meteors, being planetary crust of rust. Like when Saiyans knuckle up, he's a beast. His beat bangs like the tailpipe on Uncle Buck. Riff went off after kids saw him sniffing that 404 coat, and philosopher chin palm stroke until his jaw broke like Darth Vader, hitting you with a dark saber combo in a galaxy far, far away. He concentrates till y'all show psionic vacuum, vortex of aphotic stab wound. Somewhere on the silk road, flowers undergoes its last bloom. where'd the moon go? Hiding in the anti-cloud where mirrors can't be found, but lights inside, I feel it dance around. Ricocheting to the hush of an enchanted sound, the growing disappearance of a suicide of phantom smiles. Shadows stalk the many labyrinths that we have to walk, but they don't denote danger. They're only a language that matter talks. Just consider nature in the hidden place of flowers tossed. Invisible, that silence sparks beauty not anticipated. It's perspective of the vantage point of any given nexus that the size of light can or cannot be detected. I myself am guided by a certain magnetism. I resonate with the concurrency of magic's rhythm. The window through the spine and the medulla peeking through the blinds, observing the surface and the curse with which the two will intertwine. I conquer destiny by simply not neglecting me. I pay attention to the subtleties of my heart's every beat. The eloquent mirage, a spell of elegance will concretize the liberating fruit, the innovative truth of not advised. A cosmic wishing well, the weight of vibrant glimmers swell. These pinpricks inundate the sky, the constellations and so cell. The iridescent interstellar pulses, humble pillars brace. All the buzz within reveals the fate of what we will create. Where's this boat sailing? Feathers are this river's banks, its plethora colors illustrate the bold reflection that our mirror makes. It was beautiful where we spent the day. She didn't see my face, but saw a red fox ricochet, taking pieces of her fish away. Different time, different place, strewn bodies seemingly my food. All he saw was blurs zooming by as they would be removed. He woke up but I went on to flee a slayer I was peaceful to, betrayed by a trace of hemoglobin on a single tooth. I had no desire to inflict upon her any harm, so I evaded her attempts to kill her, chose not to respond. In addition to my blood for minor wounds, I trickled with and charm. Sad cause I knew if we could just chill that we would get along. She thinks that I don't think she's strong, I think she's never been so wrong. But then she also thinks because I see her strengths that I don't see her flaws. Ironically, that's her being wrong, and I see that like I see it all. It's sad cause she can't seem to get the thing that creeps beneath it off. The me she sees ain't really me, then there's no reason for we at all. She's strange cause my reflection in her eyes cannot be seen at all, and I don't even have things. This is so disorienting, so many stories blending. The garden as florists envy, one can get lost when the metaphors of worlds are plenty. Walk into each copse of trees and leave having seen the forest empty. I tend to close my eyes and see what's really visible. I need to heal from many wounds, that's why I feel so miserable. Being empathetic, I can't just pretend this planet's peace, so I decide to do my best to fix the things my hands can reach. Worldwide camel leaves, praying mantis, creeping shrubs are blurred, where they beheaded and eaten 7 species of hummingbird. Mindanao gum, rainbowy eucalyptus. Nature chews up a tree and blows a beautiful bubble with it. This is the sort of magic you would have if wands were everywhere. Lost in the eclectic stare, only the intrepid wear. How is it that a shadow with eyes inferior to what they see is able to recognize the sacred mirrors that lie underneath? Deep in the abysses of extraordinary light sources, he sees with the black holes the ordinary eyes as bright torches. Somehow these flames themselves, the auras they ignite enormous, sublime to the majesty of the vibrant firelight's performance. We thrive together, help each other ply our efforts, carrying operation wilting drivers still survive the desert. The night endeavors to highlight the life that's not been weathered. Who knew blue moons could be such delightful tethers? These quiet embers are magic satellites I treasure, so while the wings collapse I strike a match to reignite their feathers. Unreal, I can't express how truly grateful I feel to be allowed to see what flowers hidden space can reveal. The organic urge to liberate what is sealed. I am stranded on earth but levitate on a pill.